I don't see the word live here.
I mean, you may have beat my record of 10 seconds.
Okay, see, there we are. We're good now.
Now we're live. Now we can welcome in all the organisms.
That's right.
Shuffle on down, you wonderful organisms. We're the
Human
SVT.
beings.
The SVT podcast is back on a Friday. We missed our normal Monday show due to the holiday and playoff football, and then Tyler and I were both sick, so we're recovering, but we're well enough to do the show. So
We were dry heaving in each other's mouths on Monday.
yummy.
It
I mean,
was
that's what happens when you
so
share the
cool.
same beer cup.
Thanks for the invite.
You know,
Damn.
licking each other's bowls and
Whoa.
beer mugs.
Whoa.
You never played My Germs?
Yeah. You gonna eat that? I mean, how else do you sample food? Don't you feed each other your best friend?
That's the way I was always taught, you know?
Here, eat it off my hand there, bro.
It's peanut butter.
All right, this train has been derailed for the first minute of the show.
All right, Vince.
Let's,
Curse.
Yeah. Should I just start singing that one song that Blink 182 Blink
No,
182 does in their concerts?
No, do the Limp Bizkit one.
I've seen Blink. I've never actually seen Limp Bizkit, so I don't know, man.
Don't they own the record of saying the F word like 66 times or something, like 166 times in one song?
Oh, it's effed up place and effed up life, whatever. Yeah, that song. Okay, I know what you mean. Yeah.
All right.
See, look at me, not swearing.
All
on
right, Sam.
purpose.
All right, Sam. Let's start
Hell
this
yeah.
over. Let's go.
Re-rack it.
Welcome back to the SVT. No, let's get into some sports. We had a huge weekend of playoff football, and some stuff was unpredictable, like the Texans. That was a great game, and then some stuff was predictable, like the Cowboys completely imploding on themselves. I thoroughly enjoyed that game. I laughed all the way to the bank on that one.
Yeah, the maniacal laughter coming out of my apartment. And
Oh, yeah.
nobody else in here, just me, because Courtney's like, he's watching football. I'm going to disappear and go do something else. So
Yeah. So let's go through. I know everybody who's watching this probably already knows the outcome, but just for the sake of clarity, let's go through the weekend scores, Vince. And
all right, so here we are. I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm putting them up on the Excel sheet because
Nice.
this is also our playoff pick'em challenge spreadsheet. So, two birds, one stone. So on Saturday, the Texans all over the Browns, 45-14. The insanity run of Joe Flacco has ended. We called it, like he was turnover prone, and that showed up big time. 2 pick sixes, and that was the end of it. Really, like there was no coming back after that.
yeah,
On Saturday night, the Chiefs beat the Dolphins 26-7. The Dolphins, I guess, were frozen. They couldn't handle it. The big story out of that game was actually Kristen Juszczyk, wife of 49ers fullback, because she made Taylor's jacket, and all of a sudden she went from 50,000 people on Instagram to 600K because Taylor wore her jacket. So big ups to you. Go Niners.
Well, also too, I think that Tua has never played a football game in weather below 20 degrees, so that
He
sucks.
has now. Oh man, that was just like the Andy Reid mustache, like completely frozen. I mean, like there's just a lot of images from that game that aren't football related.
Hold
that
on,
are just going to be trapped forever.
Before we jump into this Packers and Cowboys game, which is laughable laugh factory of this whole segment here,
Mhm.
did you hear that like 14 people got treated for hypothermia from the Chiefs
Oh
game?
yeah,
Yeah, I
there was
believe
quite
it.
a few, more than a dozen. Yeah,
I bet you it was all those people who took their shirts off thinking that beer will keep me warm.
yeah. Well, the beer freezing over the second you walk out of. There was one video where somebody pulled out
water?
a water bottle, the
Yeah.
smart water bottle, right? And then, as soon as they leave the refrigerator area, it just freezes over like real fast. You can see it crawl down.
I saw that on Reddit where the same thing where they pulled it out of the fridge and then the water froze. And the first comment says, "Close the fridge door, letting all the heat out."
Okay. All right, so let's move on to Sunday. The Packers, Sam, you called it. The Packers,
I told you.
48-32 over the Cowboys. How about them fraud boys, man? We I kind of thought that there was a chance it could happen. We talked about it last
Yeah.
week. Like, we wouldn't be surprised if it happened this week. We knew they were going to fold at some point. No, and this 32 that they scored, that's garbage time. It was 48-16 with 6 minutes left. They got some garbage time to make it look prettier than what it really was.
The game was
a
over
beatdown.
before halftime.
Yeah,
There was
that
like
was a
before halftime
beatdown
was over.
of epic proportions, and it brought joy to my heart. I was seeing Schadenfreude from Avenue Q, man. It was beautiful, a beautiful sight. I love it.
I'm actually quite happy that Mike McCarthy's coming back next year.
Me
me
too.
too.
That
just
fills me
means,
with so
like,
much joy.
It just means like there's another fold ready to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Jerry Jones basically since he fired Jimmy Johnson, he's had only yes men's with the exception of Bill Parcells.
Right.
But Bill Parcells was there right around the time he was trying to get his money for Jerry World, and he was
Right.
trying to look serious. And as soon as he got that money, he was, Bill Parcells was out, and then Wade Phillips, who's, ultimate yes man, great coordinator, not a great head coach.
Yeah.
He takes over after that.
Also, Jerry's been letting coaches play out their contracts and just doesn't retain them. So I think probably should have moved off of Mike McCarthy and went a different direction, but he's going to save a couple of bucks and stick with them. And I think on what they're trying to hang their hat on is that it's a 12-win team, right? And he's been into the playoffs 3 straight times, but it's 3 straight duds.
I guarantee you that DC gets poached. That their DC
Dan
is
Quinn? I mean,
uh,
maybe. Yeah. Dan
yeah.
Quinn is the DC.
I think he gets poached.
The reports were that he was a lock to get the Seattle job.
Yeah.
And now they're saying it's not so much of a lock because of the 48 piece that he gave up to Green Bay. And he calls the defense. Mike McCarthy doesn't do anything on defense. That's his unit.
The reason why I said that doesn't really matter because the Eagles offensive coordinator is in line to get a job with multiple places. And we've seen how that ended. We'll get to that game, but yeah.
All right. So let's move on because the Packers, just like the Packers, we're going to move on, unlike the Cowboys. Oh, go fuck yourself, Dallas. There it is, 8 minutes in. The Lions beat the Rams 24-23. The most exciting game of the entire weekend. That was a lot of fun, and we all got it right, and we all said it was going to be a close one. We thought, Matt Stafford might come in and ruin the day for Detroit.
He almost did.
He almost did. Detroit was able to hang on by a point. They get the job done. And because the Cowboys lose their game, Detroit gets to host another home game.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. That's what I said. All right. So let's move on to Monday. The Bills and Steelers, they were originally supposed to play Sunday 10 a.m. Pacific time, but that game got pushed back because of weather. Buffalo ends up winning 31-17. That was the annual, thanks for making it to the playoffs, Steelers. Now here's your one and done.
They looked good for about a quarter. I was like, wow, this might be something.
Yeah.
And then
the
Mason Rudolph. So
yeah. I mean, we all know Mason's not the answer at quarterback there. So
did you hear that before the start of this season, he almost retired to get his real estate license? I think to work for his dad's like real estate firm or something like that. He's probably not coming back as the starter of the Pittsburgh Steelers or any NFL team, but hey, he got to start a playoff game. I mean, that's a childhood dream. He's I don't know how much further his NFL career is going to go, but good for him.
Yeah, his value to the Steelers is higher than to any other team for sure.
Right.
If it's not with the Steelers, it's nowhere, I think.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Mitch Trubisky could be gone too. So maybe Mason hangs on as the backup.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Then Monday night, Tyler, you kind of thought it might be coming, and it did.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay beats your Philadelphia Eagles 32-9. Just a couple thoughts. What are you thinking after that game?
Yeah, I mean, initially, look, I still think that Nick Sirianni is maybe not the head coach for us for the future, but it sounds like all indications that he's going to be the head coach.
Cut the screen share. Oh, there you
That's
go. Okay,
that's
thank you.
that's exact. I was
Yeah.
on it right there.
It's
Yeah.
it's all indications that he's going to be head coach again next year. He's already interviewing people to take over the OC and the DC job because obviously Sean Desai is out. Brian Johnson is interviewing to possibly be, maybe the Titans' next head coach, whatever, great. I still think that if Nick Sirianni was the one who orchestrated this whole entire offense, and you had 6 to 7 weeks, if you include the playoffs, to try and make a change, and you didn't, I don't know where do we draw the line of, are you a motivator or are you a head coach? So it seems like we had a really good DC, we had a really good OC who, took the Titans almost to the playoffs in this first year with a rookie quarterback and then a backup quarterback. So it seems like Nick Sirianni is the headpiece to just motivate guys, and he needs good coaches around him to make him be able to do his job of just motivate while the coaches do their jobs of coordinating, right? And I don't know if that's how you want your head coach to be. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I personally don't. I'd like to have a head coach who can manage all of it, since he is the head of the operation in that retrospect. But I don't know if Kelsey's going to be back. I don't know if Brandon Graham's going to be back.
I think Kelsey's already announced that he's retiring.
He has not yet. So he did a knee-jerk reaction, and then he's come out on this podcast, New Heights, and said that he hasn't made that decision yet. So
Okay. Well,
until papers are filed with NFL, he has not announced a retirement yet.
yeah.
And again, all
He's
indications
gone,
he's
though.
probably
He's
going to
gone,
retire.
though. He's
Yeah.
gone.
I mean, he just made another, all-pro team, his sixth one. So he's going to be a Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know if we're going to see Fletcher Cox again. Like, it's just to see those three guys, if you don't ever see them again, like, I want to say thank you. The memories that they gave us, the heart, sweat, tears, whatever you want to say, it's been great. I just have my reserved thoughts. I'd rather go for a head coach, like a Harbaugh type of person. We will never see Belichick. Our owner Lori does not like Bill Belichick, so he will not be in the building to even have that conversation. So it really only leaves one head coach realistically, and then I think it's going to be Sirianni going forward, even though I don't really want him to be the head coach next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to shit on him now. I think Vince and I talked about this last year about Sirianni, because there were some antics last year that he did, and then some video started popping up this year where Sirianni last year was like flipping fans off, and then Jalen Hurts pulled his hand down and was kind of like, dude, like,
Yeah.
what's up with that? So I did hop on Eagles Twitter and kind of check out what was going on there. I didn't really comment or or do any interactions, but I was kind of scrolling and looking at it, and there was a lot of fans talking about the immaturity of Sirianni and how he would interact with opposing fans. And there was a lot of, hey, remember that week during this, and a lot of stuff like that. So it just seems like a lot of the Eagles fans are kind of over it on however he conducts himself. I was pretty interested. I was curious about, it's interesting because this time last year, Jalen Hurts was getting the praise of being the same, not overly emotional, not being too high, not being too low, and just kind of being the same moment to moment, day to day, week to week. And now he's getting crushed by his own teammates on being the same thing. So I thought that was kind of like an awkward thing. You saw the blowups on the sidelines of some guys were calling out Jalen Hurts for whatever, and there was quite a bit of blowups on the sidelines last week.
I don't think that excuse me. I don't really have any issues with Jalen Hurts. People are going to say he regressed, and if you look at his numbers from last year to this year, they're pretty close to what they were. So he didn't really regress, but he didn't really progress either. So he didn't really go forward in my eyes either, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think we talk about it. Are you a game manager, or are you the one that basically runs the whole entire show?
I still believe he's I mean, he put
Game
together,
changer or game manager, I guess, is the question,
yeah,
right?
I still think he put together a over a season and 3/4 of amazing football.
Yeah,
I don't think you just bail on a guy that talented,
no,
after
not at all.
how
Well,
they close the season.
you have
And I
two
think a
wide
lot of it
receivers,
too,
though.
was the defense. The secondary couldn't make a tackle, couldn't create a turnover. I mean, the secondary on paper, you look at the names, you're like, damn, this is a good secondary. But to me, they just look like they got old and slow, like in the middle of the season to now. The secondary just looked old and slow.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens when you change your coordinator halfway through,
And then the Matt Patricia
Yeah.
thing. So
I mean, again, we have two wide receivers at 1,000 yards. You also had a running back, for 1,000 yards. So you have three players. So I give a lot of shit to Brian Johnson, but yes, we did have three 1,000 players, which is nothing to bat an eye at. That's a great accomplishment for a team. I think what's just frustrating as a fan base is that we could all see the plays as a Joe Schmo sitting on the couch. There's no reason why I should be able to know the plays that you're going to run. It shouldn't be that predictable. And it just was. There was no passes over the middles. Everything was to the side. They was trying to get big plays. There was no dynamic to the offense. And I think that was really the downfall that really frustrated a lot of Eagles fans. And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it was Brian Johnson. Maybe it was Nick Sirianni. We'll just never know. Maybe not until the Telltale book comes out 10 years down the road.
The Tampa Bay Bucks, did you guys see this? They're going to be playing Detroit this coming weekend, and the reporter asked about the weather and this, and then Todd Bowles, the gentleman that he is, the sweetheart that he is, he's like, well, it's a dome. We're playing indoors, so for the 10 seconds of when we have to walk up to the stadium from the bus, but I won't be thinking about it that much. It's like, damn, dude, you handled that better than any other human being on the planet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also heard that what's his name? The safety that was with the Eagles. Godly, I'm drawing a blank. Gardner.
CJ Gardner Johnson.
Thank you. Him and the Baker Mayfield are getting into it. Oh man, Baker Mayfield is getting drugged through the mud right now. It's not looking pretty for him right now. And I really hope that he does something good, because it's not gonna be pretty if he loses this game throwing like 2 picks or something like that.
I wanted to reincorporate last week into this week. What, Vince, could you bring up the teams that are going to be playing this coming weekend? 49ers.
Yeah, you want me to share
that?
the screen again?
Yeah.
Okay. Give me just
I know
a
this
sec.
is going to be a little bit of out of left field, but
all right, here
I'll
we
set
are.
it up a little bit. There was a tweet of there's a podcast that Amy Trask is on, and she to quote her a little bit, she goes, there's 8 teams, 8 quarterbacks left. 7 of them are terrific, and then there's Brock Purdy. So
what does she mean by that?
That she, she went into detail, and she said that, Brock Purdy, she doesn't put in their class. So I was like, just off the top of my head, you're going to you're going to put Jordan Love over Brock Purdy one season.
But he was a first round pick.
I'm going to get to that.
Yeah.
So Jordan Love in one season, his first season as a starter, you're taking him over Brock Purdy. You're taking Baker Mayfield, this is statistically his best season this year. You're taking a rookie in CJ Stroud, who's having a phenomenal season. Like, okay, Lamar Jackson, I get it. You're taking Jared Goff over Brock Purdy. Josh Allen, okay, I understand.
And Patrick Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes, okay, I
Yeah.
understand. But what I don't understand, I'm not even the 49er fan, is the slander that Brock Purdy gets, and he's done this over a season. Like,
Mhm.
he's done this over a season now. Like, he's into his second season, and we're never going to know what could have happened last season against the Eagles when he got injured. It could have been a different outcome. It could have been the same outcome, meaning the 49ers still lose, but maybe the score is a little bit different. You don't know. But just real quick, I know that's out of a left field, but what do you guys think of this? Why does Brock Purdy get shat on so much? Because it seems like other
the draft.
quarterbacks are okay.
It has to be the draft. And the reason why I think it is because it has to be the draft, and it's easy to crap on the guy that was Mr. Irrelevant at this point, right? What has he done in this league? He's made it to one championship, which is amazing. I mean, look at all the other quarterbacks that are in here. How many of them have made it to championship games? I mean, seriously,
Yeah, not Baker, not Jordan, not CJ.
Yeah.
Did the Ravens get there in Lamar's MVP season?
They did, and then they
so
lost.
they got to championship Sunday and lost.
Yeah.
Jared Goff went to a Super Bowl with the Rams. The Bills have been in championship Sunday, obviously the Chiefs. So I mean, so you got these three teams right here: Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers, Jordan Love and the Packers, and then obviously the rookie CJ Stroud and the Texans.
Right. So the only one out of those, right? Let's be honest here. The only one in their rookie season that made it to a championship series and almost made it to the Super Bowl was Patrick Mahomes, right?
It was his second season because he started that first year. He was on the bench behind Alex Smith.
Well, okay, as a full-time starter.
His first year as a starter.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
that's
correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Brock Purdy is a full-time starter, made it to a championship game. Can we say that, right?
Yeah.
So how two quarterbacks have done what Brock included?
Yeah,
I don't know why he doesn't get slander on that. There's no reason he should get any slander at all. He's an excellent quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't understand you go outside the Bay Area and people are losing their minds about Brock Purdy and just want to crush this dude. And
basically, I think that Christmas game between the Ravens and the Niners, because Brock threw like 5 picks or whatever. 4 of those picks were not his fault. Only one of them was.
They were like tip balls
and tip ball,
weird.
So, it was a bunch of weird things happening in that game, but that's their like proof positive that he sucks. It's just the system, whatever, blah 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 blah, whatever. They're just gonna be they're kind of take locked. They had this perception because he was the last pick of the draft, and until he does something phenomenal on the national stage, which unfortunately it has to be a Super Bowl, basically. If he doesn't go out and win a Super Bowl, and then they're just going to have the same perception of him until he does something spectacular again and again and again. It's the smart people have come around. The people that have actually paid attention and watched Niners games, there are throws that he makes that Jimmy wasn't making, that Trey couldn't make. I'm at a loss for words at this point, because if you haven't come over on Brock by now, I think you're just not going to. Well, at this point, I think it's take lock. It's when you have an opinion about somebody and you're just kind of locked in there, you're not going to change until something completely egregious happens that forces you to change.
If Brock wins that Super Bowl, there's only one person in that whole entire 49ers organization that's going to thank him till the cows come home. And that'll be Kyle Shanahan, to finally get over that hump.
Yeah.
If Brock does that, oh my God, Kyle will name his first child Brock.
All right. So I think we've talked about this quite a bit. Let's actually let's make some picks at this point. Since it's already up, we're already sharing. Let's go. Let's start with the Texans and Ravens. The Ravens are 9.5-point favorites. Tyler, you want to go first on this one?
I'm gonna go Ravens on this one. I'm gonna keep a
Okay.
bird alive in this playoff.
Okay. Sam, how about you?
I love the Texans, but yeah, Ravens, they're just the better team right now. But the Texans, they're they're going to be a problem for many, many years to come.
Yeah. So I'm thinking real hard about doing it. I'm real tempted. If there's an upset brewing this week, I think it might. You know what? I'm gonna pick the Ravens, but if I was a betting man, I'd bet on the Texans because that game's gonna be a lot closer than 9.5 points.
Yeah.
But we're not picking against the spread. We're
Yeah,
just picking
yeah.
straight up.
Wait,
So,
I have a question for you on this next one here.
mhm.
I mean, isn't it known that Brock kind of struggles when it's inclement weather, like rain and all that good stuff?
No, that was like a monsoon. It was different. I don't know. I mean, like everybody plays a little bit worse in inclement weather. But here's the thing: I actually came prepared with a couple of stats for you. Um, Green Bay, their rush defense was not very good over the season.
It's
They
gotten
were
better.
28th the best.
Yeah, it's gotten a lot better though.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were 28th best. It's not gotten better. It really hasn't. They played against teams that don't have a good enough rush attack. The 49ers are the third rushing team, the third rushing offense in the league. And then if we want to flip it the other way, the 49ers had the number 3 rush defense. Green Bay only had the 16th rushing offense. And part of that is Aaron Jones was injured for a little while. He's back. Maybe they're 10th ish. But with him, the thing I want to bring up is when CMC gets 75 plus or more yards, the Niners are 10-1. I think the game plan is CMC and Debo Samuel out of the backfield, and you're just gonna sprinkle in some Elijah Mitchell and Jordan Mason, and they're gonna rush it like 35, 40 times, and that's how the 49ers are gonna get a 14-point win. So that's how I see this game going down.
Well, I
Damn.
mean,
14 points.
I'm going to pick the 49ers.
Okay.
That's not a question. I'm just I will
Okay.
say this. If an upset were to happen between the Texans and the Packers games, both of those wouldn't shock me at all, just because, they're
No, the Packers
loose
are for
cannons.
real at this point. The Packers are
Yeah.
a legit team. They proved themselves for real. They proved themselves real enough that the Niners are going to take them seriously and not let any foolishness happen like Dallas did.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, again,
That's why I think it's going to be like 31-17, like kind of like what that final score was with the Bills, something like that.
yeah, again, if it happens, wouldn't shock me. Now, if I obviously we get to the next ones, but if like the Bucks beat the Lions, then I'd be shocked, right? But Packers, if they win one out by like a field goal, that wouldn't shock me at all. But I'm gonna go 49ers.
The Niners are 9.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I'm taking the Niners. I don't know if it's going to be a 14-point win, but I see them winning. I think it's going to be a no doubter. I don't think they're winning by a field goal or anything like that. But I think it's gonna. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout though.
No, I mean I wouldn't call 14 a blowout. I mean, what happened with the Packers and Cowboys, that was a blowout.
Yeah.
The Browns Texans, that was a blowout. I mean, the Bills Steelers game, that ended up being a 14-point game. The Bills had control, but I mean that wasn't like a blowout by any means. So I think that's how I see it. The Niners control the game the whole way. But yeah, it's a comfortable, but not like because of the rain and everything. It's going to be a ground game anyway, and that's Niners have CMC.
Yeah.
Advantage Niners. So.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so Lions Buccaneers. I am going to take the Lions. I'll pick first this time. I think the fun times keep rolling in Detroit. Niners will be hosting the Lions next weekend. That's my prediction.
But
I actually think this is the game for me that could be an upset because I could totally see Jared Goff being turnover prone And the Lions defense has been susceptible to giving up a lot of big plays. And I think the Buccaneers are coming in really well coached on both sides of the ball. And, Baker, he's having his best season. I'm not saying he's an MVP, but this has been his best season. I can see him actually having some big plays. I want the Lions to win. I really do. But they give up a ton of big plays. So I'm actually going with the upset. I think I'm going to take the Bucks.
Oh, look at you.
I will
Okay.
not be taking the 9-8 Bucks, and I will be taking the Lions.
All right. So here we go. Here's the divergence. Okay. Now we have Bills and Chiefs on Sunday at 3:30 Pacific. Bills are 3-point favorites. What's happening?
Bills.
Bills.
Fuck the Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs.
I know. I kind of saw that coming from you. Tyler, do you want to join along with the fuck the Chiefs?
I mean, of course I do. They beat my team in the Super Bowl, but let's see. Hold on, we got a blizzard, another one. Fans are bringing shovels to this freaking game.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs just won a -14-degree weather game, but against a team that has no business being in that kind of weather. I'm gonna go Bills.
Okay. I'm also going Bills. I had the Bills and the Niners in the Super Bowl. No sense in throwing away my picks right now. So basically, we're all in agreement except on this Lions Buccaneers game. Sam, you got. I'm going to give you one last chance to change your mind on that. Are you sticking with the Bucks?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Bucks because at least there's a little bit of interestingness in.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what? Just because I want all the smoke, change my 49ers to the Packers.
Oh, you do, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm real tempted to change this Ravens to Texans just to
I mean,
make it fun for everybody.
We're all going to be different. So somebody's walking away with all points or some points.
You know what? I'm doing it. I'm going to take the Texans. We're all standing on an island for one game. And then we all have the Bills winning over the Chiefs. Watch that be the one that we all get wrong. Okay. All right. 3, 2, 1. I am locking those in. I'm stopping the share, and we're back to normal pictures of us talking instead of people staring at a spreadsheet. So that's lovely.
Absolutely.
So there's our pick'ems. We're locked in. I will just say on wildcard weekend, Tyler only got 2 out of 6 games right. Me and Sam both got 4. So me and Sam are tied for the lead right now heading into the division round. And that's where the points double. It is 2 points for every correct game. Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Oh, yeah. Nobody's
All right,
eliminated
guys,
yet.
The coaching carousel. This is before we get fully into the coaching changes and all this stuff. I heard an interesting debate this afternoon about when teams should be able to hire coaches, because some people were.
It should so be after the playoffs.
I was gonna say, should we do it after the playoffs? Because now people are saying Dan Quinn was distracted because he did interviews in Seattle and how to fly back and yada yada yada. What do you guys think about this interviewing stuff?
It's a little rough sometimes in certain situations, like the Dan Quinn situation, for example. But teams fire their head coaches, basically on a lot of them get fired the day after or 2 days after at most. So so basically if we're waiting till the end of the playoffs to start hiring head coaches, teams that don't fire their head coach have an advantage over the supposedly worse teams. So as much as I get the idea of not wanting to have your offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator distracted, these bad teams need to get a head start. They need to get a start right away. And if you can't at least identify and talk to a couple of these guys, maybe not make the hires official or anything immediately, but they need to be able to at least interview on an off day. Obviously we don't want to have interviews happening on a Friday, when they're trying to
What
coach a game on Sunday. But
is it or is it the team's decision to allow that person to go for the interview? Like what if
It depends.
say Sam, you're my coordinator and the 49ers want to interview you. Could I be like, you could interview him, but once we get eliminated or
No,
after the
it
playoffs?
depends. It depends.
No.
So if you're a coordinator, if it's a lateral move, the team could deny. But if it's a promotion, so if it's a head coaching job, then you can't block that. You can't block a promotion.
Okay.
So if you're an OC or a DC or a quarterback coach and you're interviewing for a promotion, you can't get blocked. If it's a head coaching promotion. If you're a quarterback coach and you're interviewing for an offensive coordinator, you may have to wait until the season is over.
I would say the rule should be you're allowed to interview them once the team has been either not in the playoffs or eliminated from the playoffs. I'd say that'd be the only two things. Or if the team's going to the Super Bowl, you can interview them during the Pro Bowl week.
Yeah, they do got some stuff where like it's 2 days after a game or 3 days before a game. So there are some like things
It's
about
basically
that.
Tuesday is your day to interview those guys.
It's like something weird like that. The other thing that I saw a lot of people griping about and is the Rooney Rule is that it's kind of we're doing interviews now because we have to.
Yeah.
Like interview minority candidates, like where the Raiders interviewed Leslie Frazier. We knew he wasn't going to be a serious contender to get the job. And then they interviewed another guy who has never been a head coach at any level and wasn't even coaching in the league this past season. So a lot of people are, African-American people are, commentators, former athletes are saying the Rooney Rule is a good thing in concept and we should encourage minority hires. But at this point, it's just now we're checking a box and
it's window dressing.
Yeah, it's not really helpful anymore.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. I agree. I think it's been kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Just used as a okay, I guess if I have to.
It hasn't been taken seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the idea was to get these guys' names out there. So even if you didn't hire them, at least they had a little bit of a, publicity at that point.
What's really stupid is, the Raiders situation specifically today, they name Antonio Pierce their head coach. So they remove the interim label. Like they had to interview two minorities to promote a minority, which seemed like that caused a lot of comments from everyone of like, well, it sounds like the Raiders are going to promote a minority and have a minority general manager. Why do we need to do this? Because we're going to give them the job. So
I can see two sides of that though. I mean, I can understand like we're trying to eliminate the whole objection of having to interview a minority because they're a minority and you have to. So forcing them to go ahead and interview another minority is trying to place out that you're getting the whole idea of the Rooney Rule. Objectively, yes, it's to interview minorities, but it's also to make it so that way it's not necessarily have to be a rule anymore. Let's just make it a standard that you interview anyone who's the best candidate for a job. I think that's the whole point of it, and it's not being used the way it's
that's the idea in a perfect world. Unfortunately, the world kind of sucks right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really bad shit happening. So obviously we don't get into most of that stuff here.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah.
But anyway, getting back to the coaching carousel, Tennessee fires Mike Vrabel.
Dumb. So dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Tennessee. Their owner is an idiot.
Stupid.
It just seems like they traded their star wide receiver and Vrabel lost his mind about that shit last year.
They also traded their star safety as well too.
So I mean, if you're Derrick Henry, do you want to come back? Because he was like,
no,
what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it depends.
It just seems like that's going to implode.
Asking.
Yeah, it just seems like that's going to implode.
Yeah, that whole situation. It was injuries that did them in this year, really.
Yeah.
Is King Henry a free agent now? Well,
Yeah,
will be a free
I
agent?
believe so.
Oh, dude, if I'm Baltimore, I'm calling as soon as the playoffs end.
Oh.
I'm calling immediately if I'm Baltimore. Like instantaneously, I'm calling. No
So
offense, I mean,
Tennessee, they're looking for a coach, right? They didn't name
Oh
anybody
wait,
yet.
no, he's not actually a free agent. I'm sorry.
okay, okay. I think he's got one more year, yeah?
I'm looking it up on Spot Track right now.
Or can he opt out?
Wait, looking. No, he actually is a free agent in 2024.
Yeah.
Oh,
Baltimore
yeah,
call.
well.
Baltimore
yeah.
call immediately.
Seattle, Pete Carroll is out, and I don't know if you guys heard about this, but during his press conference, he said the decision was made not with football people. So it seemed like Pete Carroll was full intent that he thought he was going to be a coach, and everybody else who his words are non-football people made the decision.
The bean
What
counters.
What does that mean? Like the
It means the business people.
Yeah, the accountant,
Yeah, Joan and payroll.
you know.
that's such an odd. Like I can understand if he was like if they were like, dude, he's like 75 years old. You know what I mean? Like how much the man fell down and damn near broke his back. You know what I mean? Like I
don't
get
know,
it.
man. Pete
but-
Carroll probably beat up some 20-year-olds. That dude is fit. He's a fit old man.
Do you see him chewing through gum,
I
man?
So that's been an interesting thing, and apparently he still wants to coach. So he's talking about staying with the Seahawks to do whatever he can as a consultant. But there's some talk that he may be interested to coach elsewhere. So we'll see.
Bama is available.
No, it's not.
Their Nick Saban is retiring.
Nick Saban's retired, but they already hired a coach. They took what's his name from Washington.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So that's
What?
already done. The
right.
Patriots they break up with Bill Belichick. It's a mutual thing, and this was kind of an interesting. He's out on Monday. Gerard Mayo is promoted on a Tuesday, let's say.
I think it was like Wednesday, but yeah, it was pretty quick.
But the Bill Belichick had it in his contract that there was a succession plan. So apparently one of the loopholes in the interview process is if you have a succession plan, you don't have to do these Rooney Rule interviews because he picked his successor, which was Gerard Mayo. So
good.
That was really interesting. So
I like that.
And there's also rumors that Josh McDaniels is going back to the New England Patriots as the offensive coordinator.
No, he's not. It's not happening.
I hope it does.
It's
I
no
hope it
no
does.
way. There's no way Gerard Mayo lets that man
I hope
an
it does.
access card to the building.
I hope
the
it does.
chaos.
I want to watch it burn.
There's no way Gerard Mayo lets that happen. It does not happen. I do think Josh McDaniel definitely goes back with Bill Belichick wherever Bill Belichick goes. I don't think Josh McDaniel's going back to the Patriots though. But I do think he will follow his daddy.
Belichick did interview with Atlanta, and he's going back for a second interview. I think.
No. Belichick interviewed Atlanta.
Realistically, I mean, they have some pieces, man. They offensively and defensively. Like there's some players there.
Can you imagine? Okay, look,
like,
New England. What are you doing at nighttime in New England? Maybe going to a pub. Maybe right. So Bill Belichick can really be like really stern with the guys and like run almost a dictatorship in a sense, right? Of like football is number one. Let's do that. How is he going to control people in Atlanta?
Here's the thing, though. Bill Belichick as a coach, like top 2, right? He's considered the best, if not second, third best. I mean, you got to have Bill Walsh. You got to have the Lombardi, the trophies named after, Vince Lombardi. He's up there as a coach. I saw something really interesting in his 20 plus years with the Patriots. You look at the last 10 years of the New England Patriots drafts, He's produced one Pro Bowler. Can you name that one Pro Bowler?
Putting us on the spot there.
10 years ago?
10 in the last 10
last
years.
10 years,
Gronkowski?
his
No, Gronk is older than that.
Man, he is, huh? Yeah, he's
Yeah.
what, 2000?
I'm talking about a draft pick that was
Basically
still
since 2014.
right.
That's
is-
still with the Patriots?
Right.
Oh, damn.
It's
got to be like a
quarterback.
center. A what?
The quarterback.
He's still
Really,
with the
Mac
Patriots.
Jones. That's it. Because Mac Jones
Mac Jones made a Pro Bowl.
made a Pro Bowl in his rookie year, right?
Oh,
Right.
that's right.
So you got like no All
Ass.
Pros, you got no Pro Bowlers, and you got guys that just
But
haven't stuck.
how much of that is the Patriots' way of getting quality players at a discounted price?
What I'm saying though is Bill Belichick over the past 10 years has been the GM, the coach, the scout. He's like the Al Davis.
Yeah.
So he's become the fall of the Patriots. The rise of the Patriots and the fall of the Patriots is like the same spear. You know?
Yeah.
So the best of the Patriots was when there was a general manager who was taking care of the contracts and Bill Belichick was doing the coaching. So I think that may be the thing that potentially holds him up from going to a team like Atlanta or wherever, is that he wants full control. But then you look at the past 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years, and you look at his drafts, and they're not very good. You know, they're not a very. That's the problem with the Patriots right now, is there's nobody on that roster, and who had control of the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I really do believe that general manager and head coach need to be two different people. I really
Agreed.
do.
Agreed.
Because part of it is, if you're the head coach, you know, you're trying to, you know, get the best out of your guys. If you're the general manager, you're trying to obviously think about now, but you're also trying to think, you know, 3-4 years down the road as well, and trying to manage money and stuff like that. And if you're doing both jobs, how can you try to motivate a guy and then say you're not worth, you know, like try to, you know, underpay him a little bit on the back end? It's just, it's
Especially
two
in
diametrically opposed positions, and it does not work. You know,
back in the day when Al Davis was running the Raiders and he was the owner, the GM, the scout, you know, he was the human calculator. And there's decades of Al Davis doing it, like putting teams together. The 49ers, right, had that in Bill Walsh, where he was kind of pulling the strings on everything. And now Belichick in recent history, but I think the NFL has evolved so much with the computer, with the spreadsheet, with so many people that are specifically looking for specific things in players. It's too much for one guy to be the coach, the GM, the scout. It's just too much. Like it's not going to work.
I also think contract deals back then were like, I'll give you $8,000 and a Cadillac.
Yeah, totally different. Totally different. Moving on, the Raiders, I mentioned it earlier. They announced Antonio Pierce. So they removed the interim label, which I think most Raider fans are happy about that. I think he's earned it. I think what we're looking for as fans is a stabilizing force. I don't think you gotta go through the full offseason and the draft and free agency and see what your team is going to look like entering the season. We talked a lot about the quarterback position last week or the past couple of weeks for the Raiders. As weeks were going by with AP as the interim coach, we talked about what to look forward to. And for the most part, I got what I wanted, right? We talked about being competent, being disciplined, playing with energy, playing with poise.
AOC looked a lot better down the stretch too.
We got all of that. I think I want to see a continuation of that. And I think with Champ Kelly, I do believe there's a synergy between that relationship. And And I think AP is smart enough to understand and know within himself that, whatever that offensive coordinator is going to be, he's going to empower the OC to run the best offense that they can. And we saw that when he was the head coach, we saw Patrick Graham get empowered to run the defense to its strengths. And we saw the defense become the number one defense in the league after Josh McDaniels is gone. They led the league in fewest points given up. They led the league in turnovers. They led the league in defensive points. So they did a lot of great things. And we found, but potentially we found some players that you can put next to Max Crosby.
Let's say you guys go 7-10 next year. Do you think you still have the same outlook for Pierce?
I think it depends on what it looks like. I think, does that 7-10, did you start off, 6-2, 6-1, and then your quarterback had a blowout of his knee, and you had a Aaron Rodgers New York Jets moment? I think it depends. If it's the same team, if you're rolling with AOC, then you're probably looking at 7-10, because I respect the man. I think he deserves to play in the league, but right now he hasn't shown me enough to hand over the keys of a franchise.
Right.
Especially when if you come back with Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams and all these other veteran players, Max Crosby, these guys' shelf life is very short. So it depends on what you're rolling out there at quarterback, and it depends on how you got those 7 wins, or did you start off 0-10 and then then you finish,
You go 7-3 to
7,
close or whatever. Yeah.
So it kind of depends on what it looks like, but I think he's going to empower some coaches, and I think we'll just see a mentally tougher football team. And I think if we, these games that the Rams, Baker Mayfield last year just got off the airplane, got out of the airport, showed up and beat them.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see stuff like that. I think you're not going to see those games. I think you're going to see a motivated team. And I think they're going to the Raiders have actually done pretty well in the draft the past couple seasons with Josh McDaniels. They actually found some guys in the later rounds. And a lot of that had to do with Champ Kelly's work, and I don't think the problem was really Dave Ziegler. I actually kind of liked some of the talent he was identifying. I think the problem was Josh McDaniels trying to be Belichick Jr., and it wasn't working. So we got to go through the full offseason. We got to see who the OC is going to be. Hopefully Patrick Graham comes back as the DC. I think he will. Because if he's already getting interviewed for head coaching jobs. I think if he puts together next season a solid Raider defense, we see a continuation of that. He's gone. He's going to be a head coach somewhere.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm happy about it. That's enough about the Raiders. I'll move on.
All right. The last other piece about the coaching carousel we have, Jim Harbaugh did an interview with the Chargers. We'll see where that shakes out. It sounds like he's probably done with Michigan, especially because he got that suspension earlier in the season, and I think he's looking to make the jump.
You know what's weird about this?
He's got another one looming too, a possible suspension. So that's probably another reason why he wants to get out too.
Yeah.
So apparently Michigan wants to retain him. So he's negotiating with Michigan, and he's also doing interviews for the NFL. So apparently the holdup with him staying at Michigan for another year or two is he wants some type of immunity so that he won't get in trouble for whatever comes out. That's apparently the sticking point, is that he's trying to negotiate some type of immunity that he can't get in trouble by the school, can't be suspended, you can't dock his pay, you can't do this, you can't do that. So I don't know. Jim Harbaugh's a weird kind of dude. Hell of a coach, but he's an odd one.
He does tuck his sweatshirt into his pants.
And I don't think he would. I think he would go to the Chargers if that was, for whatever reason, the only offer he got.
Yeah.
But I know he has a connection with the Chargers because he played there his final 2 seasons of his career. He was a Charger.
But that was in San Diego.
It was in
Yeah.
San Diego, and the other thing is, I think even if you win the Super Bowl, you're like fourth, fifth fiddle. Like,
Mhm.
I don't even think if the Chargers win a Super Bowl, you move the needle in LA. The Rams won the Super Bowl, and that was the smallest football parade I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just
So-
there's so much to do in that town, you know.
So, but when the Lakers win,
Yeah.
massive
Exactly.
parade.
Yeah. That's because the
So-
Lakers have a history of winning. And
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't think they moved the
At
needle.
Sam's favorite stadium, the Forum.
They don't play there anymore. That piece of shit.
I saw Elton John there. My feet, it was my feet were still like sticky from like the shoes were sticking to the like soda that had been dried there for like 10 years or whatever. Like
That's the grossest arena.
it's so gross.
It's so disgusting.
But Elton rocked it, man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Vince, 7 Pro Bowlers for the 49ers.
Yeah.
no, all pro.
All
this
pros.
is not the Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is
Pro
all
Bowl,
pros.
all pros.
So-
I mean.
Yeah. The Eagles had 4, you had 7. So congratulations.
Yeah. CMC, Kittle, use
We had 2.
Trent Williams and Fred Warner are your first teamers. Ayuk and Mooney Ward made the second team. They very well deserved. And it sounded like Brock Purdy just barely missed out on the second team. Dak beat him out by like just a couple of points, I think. So,
I mean,
So-
all accounts, so instead of a playoffs, Dak had a good year. Really good year.
no, he, yeah, especially the last half of it. Like when that
Yeah.
schedule got a little bit easier, he was just absolutely torching people. And there's actually a lot of teams that had like a Dak CD stack in fantasy, and they just cruised to the fucking title for their leagues.
Yeah.
Didn't happen in our league. That was me piecing together fucking wounded warriors and everything. But anyway, I'm the best.
On to Cincinnati.
And we're on to Cincinnati.
Yeah. So, we're jumping into the hardwood here. We're gonna jump into something a little tragic here. There was an announcement. I believe it was Monday. It was
Tuesday.
announced Tuesday. Okay. The Warriors' assistant, Deshaun Milosevic, he had a heart attack at the team dinner the night before they were going to play Utah. He was admitted to the hospital. Unfortunately, the restaurant wasn't prepared or equipped to be able to handle a heart attack situation.
No AED device or anything on hand.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the game got postponed in Utah, and unfortunately, Milosevic was pronounced dead the next day. So they went ahead and also postponed the Friday game as well too. So, man, super tragic. I'm seeing all over Reddit like a lot of, obviously he was a Serbian champion. He was a EuroLeague champion.
Yeah,
He
he was a
started
big
lot-
deal in Europe. Yeah.
Yeah, he started a lot of basketball leagues. He's kind of the main reason why Jokic is Jokic. A lot of big men, especially from Eastern Europe, credit Milosevic for basically his camps and his coaching and things of that nature. So I'm seeing a lot of coaches come out, especially when Toronto, their head coach, obviously Denver, obviously the Warriors, the Lakers held a moment of silence too for him. So he was a big name in the NBA coaching world. So really sad to lose that such a great person. And it seems like he was just a great human being, always up, never down, treat everyone positively. I think Looney is really hurt by this one the most, just because he spent probably the most time with him being a big man on our roster. So hearts and prayers go out to his family, man. That's really tragic.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't really have anything else just to add to that.
Yeah, there's no
yeah,
no
it
smooth
sucks.
transition,
Yeah.
but
Moving
moving on to the team and where we're at.
The schedule is, I mean, we don't know when their next games are gonna be, like when they're gonna start playing games again.
They have a game scheduled for tomorrow against the Lakers. I don't know. I assume they're going to play that one, but I'm not too sure. I mean, they've postponed 2 games now. So I can't imagine. I mean,
Yeah.
all the players were there, so I can only imagine how heartful
to give you an idea, on the Athletic website, like theathletic.com, I clicked over to the Warriors scores and schedules. Like they just took that page down entirely. Like it's just a blank page with an ad on it. Like they don't have the schedule listed for the team right now because they don't know. Like obviously they have to make up these 2 games that they've suspended. They've postponed. Excuse me. So we'll see. Obviously, it's a tough situation, and we'll see if they actually play when they play. What's the deal? And when those games will be made up. It'll compress the schedule a bit, more games in a shorter time, but also it's more chances to climb back in. Right now they're 12th. They're sitting 12th.
Yep. Just
They're
gotta get
out.
2 more up.
Yeah, they're 4 games under 500. So you gotta when they do start playing, obviously we want them to play well and get above 500. That's the first step. After that, that's when we can start talking playoffs and everything. Until then, just damn.
Yeah.
So what
Tragic.
do you Draymond came back.
Yeah.
I think he played the 1 game until the
Came
then
off the bench.
tragedy happened.
Yeah, that was the Memphis game. They ended up losing that one by 9 points. Yeah.
Yeah, they had that
We got,
kid that went off, JJGG or something like that. The young kid, he had like 24 points or something like that. He like came up to Curry afterwards and was like, "Hey, I got uninvited to your Steph Curry camp." And Steph Curry goes, "Oh, I remember that. Like they had overbooked and they had to pull some names."
Oh no.
And so Draymond goes, I just want to say for next year, you are more than welcome to be a counselor at Steph Curry's camp, the way you torched us.
It's a good line. A little levity on the team right now. Obviously, that the whole discussion happened before the awfulness.
Yeah.
So, damn. Let's just make this as clunky as possible and move on to the Sharks, huh?
Sure.
Let's see. I was right on win of the week. I just kind of threw Montreal out there to make everybody have a different game, and wouldn't you know it, got the win there. They
close?
lose.
No, I wasn't even close. Actually, I was close.
Let's see. Yeah, they lost
That was
5-4 at Ottawa. Sam, they got the shit pushed in against Buffalo. It was bad. Like I actually watched the game. That was Sunday. 3-0, man.
They were a 3-run homer away.
That's how that works in hockey. Yeah. So they have 10 wins, 31 losses, 4 ties. That's, dead last basically in the entire league. Upcoming schedule, they have a game tomorrow against Anaheim, and then through the rest of next week, they'll have Monday at the Kings, Tuesday versus the Rangers, Saturday versus Buffalo. We're not going to worry about win of the week this week, I think, just because it's only 1 game before our next episode, which is on Monday. So,
Gotcha.
No way. I'm.
You're going to take the Anaheim. Like, you know what? I'll give us all a point if Anaheim win. If we get the win in Anaheim tomorrow.
All right.
That's why it doesn't matter.
But I mean, you could.
There's only 1
But
game
you could
before
do
our next
you
episode.
You could do the Kings.
No, because that game starts at 7:30. I looked.
But
So we're gonna be done recording before then.
Oh yeah, it's Monday.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody
So-
gets a point of Anaheim. All right.
Yeah. Or everybody gets a point, or nobody gets a point because it doesn't matter if we all get the point.
All right.
Okay.
All right. I'll take that.
Yeah. All right. Logan Couture has been practicing with the team. He should be back any day now, and obviously that's a guy that could use. He's a scorer. He's the captain. He wears the C.
How many games have you played? 1?
He's
2?
played no games.
Oh,
He has not played yet this year. So
that
he's real
explains.
close though. He's been practicing.
So he's gonna be
skating.
fresh.
Yeah, he's been skating with the team. A little life, this is nowhere near the worst ever Sharks team we've had. Like that 92-93 team, the second year in existence. I think they only won 7 games the entire year. That was a dog. That was the doggest of shit teams. But this team's not good by any stretch of the imagination. So getting a little help.
I was
with the
watching a
trade
little
deadline-
bit. I was watching a little bit, and I think I heard somebody comment on the broadcast like something to the effect of like, you can't hang your hat on anything. Like they're not good at, like, there's no
right.
component of the game that they excel in.
At least last year, they were oddly really good at the penalty kill.
Right.
Last year they were like a top 5 team on the penalty kill. They did they got torched everywhere except on the penalty kill. This year, not the case. They've been dog shit there. It's just been really rough. So to get some good news added in, they will be retiring Joe Thornton's jersey next year, next season at some point. That's to be announced. They haven't even announced the schedule yet, so they can't really announce a date yet for when that's going to happen. But Jumbo's number 19 will be joining Patty Marlowe's up in the rafters. What a beauty, man. Such a fucking beauty, that guy, Jumbo.
Are they going to put a beard at the bottom of his
I hope
jersey
so.
too?
I fucking hope so. No,
They're gonna put
probably
a beard,
not.
they're gonna put a beard on the big shark that they come out of. They're gonna put a beard on that.
They're gonna paint the beard on the ice because the chin of the shark actually sits right there. So yeah, that might be where actually like a beard Jumbo logo goes maybe for that game. That's actually
Can we get like a
possible.
foam beard?
I want it. Yeah,
A
yeah,
foam
possible.
jumbo beard night?
Yeah,
Oh man.
maybe,
Sharks,
maybe. I don't know.
If you need some ideas, I take some royalties, please. 25 cents for every beer that you sell.
Money, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I imagine the number is gonna look pretty much exactly like how Patty's does, except with 19 instead of 12. And there was a couple of people that were like, "Oh, they should have done them on the same day." I hard disagree.
Yeah.
You want to give each of these players who meant so much to your organization their own special day. Patty had his day, the greatest of all teal, right? That was, Mr. San Jose Shark. He gets his day. Now it's time for the guy that was actually the actual best player in the franchise's history. Jumbo gets his day as well, and it's well deserved. Patty is going to be a Hall of Famer at some point. He's probably not a first ballot. Jumbo is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yes.
100%. So that's I can't wait for that day.
I also want to announce too that Tampa has now shown their new logo. Don't know if you've seen this.
I have.
It's a very confusing commercial because I had to make sure that I was on the hockey subreddit because I thought I was on footballs. Their apparently new logo is 2 guys dressed as pirates in Tampa Bay to open up a treasure chest to reveal their new jersey, which is a pirate with the skull, and in the middle of the skull is the lightning logo. I don't know what they're called. Are they just called the Lightning? Pirate Lightnings? Are we calling them the Buccaneers?
They're trying to evoke lightning, like they're trying to evoke pirates as well, because that's kind of big in Florida, like being
there's already one
down
team.
There.
Just pick.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. That's kind of the idea. I think they're trying to like do a little cross marketing promotion happening there.
Man, it's very confusing. I mean, what do I call
I don't
you?
like it.
The Buccaneer Lightnings?
Yeah,
I'm gonna look
dumb.
it up.
It's dumb.
I'm
I don't like it.
I'll send you it.
He can type. Anyway, so
I see it here. It's like
it's actually kind of gives Punisher a little bit.
I was getting Grateful Dead a little. Not
Grateful Dead too. Yeah, I mean,
Grateful
it's
Dead
really
also,
weird. It's an
Brian
angrier.
Wilson. Do you remember Brian Wilson's little logo?
Yeah.
but they
that he-
changed
yeah.
their colors too.
Yeah, it's odd.
It's a choice. I don't know. They've been having too many bath
Is
salts
this silver
in
and
Florida,
black
man.
or
Yeah,
It's supposed to be blue and white. Supposed to be.
that's what their
to
current
me,
colors
it
are.
looks black.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks
We
black on this.
don't like it. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
So
I don't know about that one.
Yeah. I don't know.
Anywho,
All right. So one last thing we need to talk about. That's our boys in Wales.
your big moment. It's your big moment, Tyler. Let's go.
yeah, man, they got the win done. There was only one game, so I know that we've been gone for 4 extra days here, but they got the win against AFC Wimbledon 2-0. They are 15-7-4 in second place. Last week we talked, they were in third. They're 52 points. Again, still 2 points away from Stockport. The next game is tomorrow, which if you're watching this tomorrow, I guess the game is either probably done because it's like 4 a.m. but they're playing against Newport County. So they're pretty much locked in. I saw some. I know I sent you the Reddit link, Vince, with their magic number.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
sent it to all of us, but I know Vince probably got a kick out of it. They have to win basically 20 out of the 23 games left or something like that to ensure a promotion without having to go to a playoff.
Right, but I mean that number is actually gonna. The more games they win, it's actually going to create a bigger gap too, because the teams
Right.
behind aren't going to match them win for win.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so right now they can only afford to lose 3 to guarantee it. By the time we get down there, they probably will have like a 7 or 8 game cushion. You know,
Yeah. Just
I
be
mean
the
they
first two
probably.
teams.
I mean, right now it's 20 games. They'll probably only need to win 20 out of 23. I don't know.
Yeah.
14,
I think that's a luxury that
15
they
of them.
have this year is that they don't like, yeah, you want to take first place from Stockport, but reality, as long as you're the top 2 teams, you're in.
Top 3.
Well, yeah, top 3, and then 4 it goes into
4
playoff
through
with.
7 plays in that playoff. Yeah.
So they pretty much can write their own destiny. It doesn't really. There's not a whole lot of pressure. I mean, there is. They still got to win games, but it's not ginormous like it was last year.
Right. Yeah. They weren't trying to get out of the dog shit league. You know?
You didn't have to be number 1. You just had to be, or in this league, you don't have to be number 1. Last league, you had to be number 1.
Yeah.
Otherwise, good luck.
Yeah. Playoffs at that point. Yeah. So they'll, we talked about it, in prior episodes. Like this feels like a mid-tier, like a mid-third tier football team. This is that's where they're headed right now. They're on their way.
I did want to point out something interesting that I saw. Do I think it's going to happen? Absolutely not. But I found it to be somewhat interesting. So there's some news. Obviously, we know that I'm sorry, I say ours, but you know what? I'm claiming it. Wrexham is our team too. We root for them, just as well as Wales does. Notts County, obviously, they're losing their manager. He's going to go. Christo, what was he? He's coaching a championship team. I'm drawing a blank. But anyways. Their top player, Langstaff, who was their top goal getter, he apparently is being talked about in being trade or at least signing with Wrexham. There's talks about trying to bring in another striker, and they might want to try and bring in Langstaff for it, and he's going to cost them about £1.9 million. But you get a 20-plus goal scorer. And you get someone who could be, 1 and 2 with Paul Mullen. And now you're talking like this
2 aces.
This might be
watchers, 2 aces.
Yeah, this might be, obviously going to have to do some work on the championship team, but you might be able to hold your own, at least scoring wise, in the championship mid-level. With these 2 guys if they're on your roster. So
yeah, if like that, a signing of that caliber, that puts them closer to the upper end of League One, which means you're fighting for a shot at the championship level. I mean, at that point I wouldn't completely rule it out. It's not out of the realm of possibility at that point. Like it becomes like you can see the path. It's not a guarantee by any means, but you can see the path. How that and then maybe they would be a team that bounces back and forth between championship and League One at that level, until they find more revenue streams to improve the stadium and get more people in there, and then finish the cop and all that stuff. And that's like you can see how that would work and how they're building for the future, and how you're trying to make money in the present and not run in the red here, but you're also like opening up a chance to make even more money fairly quickly as well. So I can see it. Yeah.
Wow, it's crazy to me that ownership cares about winning and has a plan.
You mean
It's
unlike ours,
bonkers.
who goes to Sacramento
That's
and tries
crazy.
to
and Salt Lake too. I heard that Salt Lake was happening as well. They're
A
talking
7,500 seat stadium. You're gonna put an MLB team in a 7,500 seat stadium in Utah.
Oh,
in a and they don't sell alcohol on Sundays.
That also reminds me. Oh my God, JT Snow is joining the ball.
Yeah, he's
the
an
baller
infield
staff.
coach. Yeah,
So I forgot to mention that
First base coach and infield. Yeah, he'll be helping out with them.
So
It's gonna
Very
be a
cool.
lot of fun seeing like they're getting some pretty big names from
What's crazy is the A's have to play in a fucking minor league stadium, but when a independent Pioneer League wants to play one game at the Coliseum, you say fucking no when you would make money. Like, how does any of this make sense?
it doesn't.
It's
Like-
a petty fest at this point.
Like,
Yeah.
it is. I will never buy anything from Gap, Old Navy, or this motherfucker ever again. Like, I haven't bought anything in like 5 years.
Mhm.
I mean, just what a petty fucking human being John Fisher
Yeah.
is.
Seriously, if somebody has firsthand knowledge of him dropping the N bomb, now is the time to
Send
come
it.
forward.
Send it.
Send it. Casey Pratt's DMs are open.
God.
Seriously. God damn it.
Just send him to a museum in Cincinnati.
Kansas City, you fucked up the joke. We're gonna have to retire the joke now that Tyler doesn't remember it anymore.
Oh
Son
man.
of a-
Play it taps. Have some military guy like blown into a bugle.
All right, guys, we've reached the end of our script. Anything you guys want to add? Final thoughts to the show?
Fuck John Fisher.
Yeah,
Typical.
Fuck John Fisher o'clock.
That's right. It's also food o'clock. So
Yeah, I'm starving.
That too.
All right, guys, great show. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday night. Everyone out there who's watching us on the podcast, thank you so much for joining us. Please subscribe, like, interact with the show. We want to grow this. We want to have more of these shows. We want to add content, so please give us a follow. Again, you're listening to the SVT Sports Podcast. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Hit the bell for alerts when we go live. Follow us on Instagram and Threads at SVT Sports Pod. Again, slide into our DMs, interact with the show because we would love to interact with you. Thank
Absolutely.
you again very much for joining us on this special Friday night.
Bye,
good night, guys.